Well, that was easy to see. Not so much as everything out and about this morning.
No, not at all. So visibility will be an issue this morning. And luckily, I mean, Darnell, it hasn't been too much of an issue on the road so far.
Oh, no.
Let's keep.
What, me an issue or the road?
Well, you're always an issue. But let's go ahead and take a look. So moderate impacts when it comes to the weather. And instead of it being a high impact, I put it as a moderate level just because, as Darnell's been mentioning, that really the fog hasn't created too many trouble spots, but it is reducing visibility. And so that does bring us to more of an impactful morning as far as you needing to leave a couple extra minutes early. You're going to slow those speeds down, given that it is very soupy out there, the type of air that you can slice because it's just so thick. But Tuesday, we're looking at a very low impactful day. Now, Wednesday is when we have our next big system, and this is looking more likely to be an ice event than anything, and that could take us into the early morning hours of Thursday. By the time we get towards the morning rush, right now, model data having that change over to rain, so I don't have Thursday as high, but it could end up transitioning to that if this gets postponed just a little bit. Visibility right now, 0 miles from City Airport, Mount Clemens, Pontiac, Ann Arbor, Howell, Jackson, down into Adrian. And so dense fog draping the area, down to 2 miles in Monroe, half mile now in Sandusky, where we did have better conditions up into the thumb. But really our only spot that's not too shabby is Grosse Ile at 10. And we just got a live update. Now we're talking about 0.2 of a mile visibility in Sandusky. So temperatures are above the freezing mark, at least for most of us. Port Huron, Mount Clemens at 32, but mid 30s across other areas, allowing that moisture not to freeze on contact with the surface. Now, we don't have any kind of precipitation coming from the clouds here across the metro area. Not necessarily the case, though, in northern lower Michigan, the UP, where we do have some bands of snow draping that area, pushing eastward, so that's not going to sink down into our region. You might get a little bit of a rain shower out of that by about 8:30 as those temperatures rise. So along and north of M59, I'm not going to rule out a little passing shower. And then come tonight, there's a chance for a little wintry mix, but this model data not even picking that up as much. But I will say there's a chance for a little bit of a mix north of M59. Otherwise, hourly forecast, we have 45 for the afternoon high for today, putting us more than 10 degrees above average. But we hold on to the cloud cover today, so just don't anticipate much sun. Now, as cold front sweeps through, temperatures are going to tumble the next 2 days. Watch what happens by the time we get to 5 o'clock Wednesday. A little rain-snow mix starts to creep just north of the state line, but that's going to quickly transition to pink by about 6, 7 o'clock, which would indicate some freezing rain. This is a widespread freezing rain event Wednesday night, right around midnight, and then it will lift as temperatures rise. And by the time we get to daybreak Thursday, this should have already changed over to rain. So I think the morning rush hour drive is just dealing with rain, but we have to see what the aftermath of all that ice would be if we're picking up ice accumulation throughout the overnight. So the freezing rain forecast, this is really a moderate impact all across southeastern Michigan, and definitely higher amounts as you get closer to the state line. As we look at the ice accumulation forecast, anywhere from about 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch in Grosse Ile. We're going to be fine-tuning this part of the forecast over the next 48 hours, but just know that this is the next big system that will arrive. As of right now, the timeline, it'll be right in time for that Wednesday evening rush hour drive, and then we're going to take that through about 4 o'clock in the morning on Thursday. Then we have another chance, we'll call it round 2, of seeing a wintry mix going into Saturday morning, starting as snow, some freezing drizzle mixing in, and that could last even into the early afternoon hours of your Saturday. So temperatures up and down once again. Today's the warmest day. We fall to about 30 Tuesday, Wednesday, back to about 40 on Thursday as we see that change over to rain, and then another front sweeps in, and we're only going to have highs right around the freezing mark heading into the upcoming weekend. That's a look at your future forecast. It's going to be a slow go out there because of dense fog that has rolled in. So finally not dealing with precipitation and instead warmer air causing some issues for us at the surface. And so moderate levels of concern just because of the low visibility this morning, and that should be burning off in probably another hour or two. Otherwise, tomorrow, very low impactful day, but cold. And then Wednesday, we have a good chance of seeing ice in the forecast. And right now, leaning more towards freezing rain, some sleet could mix in. That's going to be a later start to that system. Maybe Wednesday evening's rush hour drive gets impacted, and that could could linger into Thursday morning. We're still fine-tuning the whole timeline and the precipitation type, but we're going to look at what we have right now in just a second. Visibility right now, 0 miles. And you see this red here from Pontiac towards Ann Arbor and how that's the most dense fog that we have on the map. But a good chunk of Metro Detroit down to 0 mile visibility, at best 1 mile, as you see over at Metro Airport. And so temperatures are in the low to mid 30s across the area. We're not seeing any kind of frozen fog out there, even though Port Huron's at 32. We haven't really had any reports of slick spots, which is great news. And nothing coming down from the sky as far as Exact Track 4D. No precipitation across Metro Detroit, but we do have some to the north, and that's clipping northern lower Michigan and the UP. Mostly snow, but a little bit of a wintry mix as you get north of about Cadillac. So clouds and radar. We could get brushed with a little passing shower before 9 o'clock. You see, you blink and you miss it, and maybe a little bit of a fine mist or drizzle around 9 a.m. close to Detroit, but that's about it. We'll hold on to the clouds today and tomorrow, and then the temperatures are going to be tumbling. So today, enjoy the 40s while they last, 45 for that afternoon high. But looking at what we have ahead, let's talk more about Wednesday. And so you'll see that precipitation moving north from the south. By 5 o'clock, possibly a rain-snow mix in our far southern communities, Monroe, Lenawee County, close to the state line. This lifts north and pretty quickly changes over to freezing rain that you see in pink between 6 and 7 o'clock in the evening. This overspreads the area overnight. By midnight, all of southeastern Michigan with this latest model run under freezing rain before the rain will lift north before we get to daybreak. By 6 a.m. now, we're just dealing with rain showers, and it's all because of those rising temperatures that will allow for that to change over. But in the meantime, we'll have some really icy conditions. We'll have a little bit of snow going into Thursday in northern lower Michigan, but our next weather maker after Wednesday night into Thursday morning won't arrive till Saturday. So freezing rain forecast, moderate freezing rain chance across the area, and right now hinting at anywhere from about 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch of ice from this event. Like I said, we have to get more high resolution data in to really lock into this, but there is a high likelihood that we're going to have a very high impact system Wednesday evening into the early morning hours of Thursday. Then Saturday, it's almost a rinse and repeat forecast here. Snow and freezing rain Saturday morning into the afternoon hours. So we'll have to see how that pans out. But right now we could be dealing with some more icy conditions. So we do rise to 41 Thursday, but back to around the freezing mark going into the upcoming weekend.